in December 2012. A young woman, Jyoti Singh, had gone to watch a movie with a male friend. She boarded a bus with this friend. There were some people on the bus, and little did they know that those people were all part of a gang. They actually beat her male friend up, tied him, and then went on to gang rape Jyoti on the moving bus. They inserted metal rods into her body, pulling out her intestines and other organs, and then threw her out on the street, leaving her to die. This incident actually triggered a lot of emotional memories that I had suppressed, of me being groped on a train as a 13-year-old, witnessing masturbation in public spaces, being harassed at the workplace. And what happened was, when I started sharing the story, others started to share their own stories. Sexual and gender-based violence is actually a global problem. It's of pandemic proportions, where 1 in 3 women on average experience some form of it at least once in their lifetime. And in India, of course, it's close to 90%. After the gang rape of Jyoti Singh, all of my friends were sharing experiences, and until then, none of us had ever spoken about it or made any official complaint. It also struck me that we have a data gap, because if we've not made these complaints, what is the official statistic representing? Data is extremely important, because in this particular kind of violence, if you raised your issue or told your story, the spotlight comes back onto you, saying you were at the wrong place, you were wearing the wrong clothing. It makes you feel small. But when you can take a data set that shows that 5 women were harassed at this street corner at this time of day, and you go to the police and you tell them it's happening, they're going to sit up and take notice. You don't need big data. You need disaggregated, hyperlocal data that can prove a point that this is happening. And that is really the power of the data, the power of the collective, that is not one person's experience. It's multiple experiences, and there is a problem that we need to address. At that time, I was part of the corporate sector, using data in my own work to make business decisions. I realized, how are we even thinking about the problem or trying to solve it? What do we do with these stories? Safe City is a crowdsourcing platform. You invite the citizens to talk about their experiences of violence, and we collect what happened to you. We triangulate these stories, which are data points, into visual representations on a map. And you can then see by location the patterns and trends of violence that are happening on a daily basis. By design, it's a completely anonymous platform, and therefore survivors don't feel like they are under the spotlight. They feel like this is something that needs to be documented, and in my view, it's the start of the healing process. Storytelling helps you open up the space to say, I'm no longer a victim, I'm a survivor, and I'm not alone. There are others out there. As part of a community, can you use this anonymous data set to mobilize and organize, and then create the change that you want? When we first started mapping violence in Delhi, we worked with a lot of young girls to help them understand the continuum of violence, their rights, and through the process, they were encouraged to record and document their experiences on Safe City. What came up was this particular location in a low-income neighborhood on a busy road where there was a tea stall. A tea stall is a little kiosk on the side of the road, mainly a male-only space. These men would stare at the women and girls passing by, and they would feel intimidated by this constant male gaze. Either they had to force themselves to walk down the street, or some of them even dropped out of school. When it showed up as a recurring incident, We asked them what would they like to change. And they said, we want the staring to stop. We happened to connect with an artist. She had this workshop where she discussed with the girls and they told her about experiences. And through that process, they created this long wall mural saying, we will speak up, we will break the silence, look with your heart, not with your eyes. We started calling these wall murals talking walls because you're expressing your emotion through the wall and really saying what you want to say to those men through the wall. The tea stall owner was very upset about it. He didn't know that this was how these women and girls were feeling. Within a week of the wall mural, he started talking to his customers and saying, okay, after you finished your tea, please move on or stop staring. It really sent the message to these girls, even without really having him speak to them, that your community has your back. Men and boys respond very well to data. When they see these data points, they are shocked. Often they are never challenged to think about these issues. This has directly translated in many places to change. At the institutional level, we have worked with several police forces sharing the data, helping them understand what's happening where allows for targeted interventions. Same with transportation. We work with mayors in several cities to help them reduce violence. And we work with 300 plus educational institutions who've incorporated safe campus policies. That's what Safe City does. The stories of women and girls are so important. I've had survivors say they felt seen and heard, and that they have confidence that they are not alone. And that's why I think Safe City is so important, because it makes the invisible visible.